Market update here on the 8th. So let's just get right into it. Let's get into SPY here. Looking all good yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock Eastern. And where did it hit? It hit this supply zone. So when it hits supply, you go short. When it hits demand, you go long. So what is this move right here? That was quite the move. Intraday down. Let's see, I'm curious how much that was, like 3%? 2.5% down intraday. And now pre-market we're down even more. So what do I think this is? I think that this is more than likely a expanded flat. So an expanded flat would mean that this shouldn't go past 516. We're down pre-market. Everyone's probably freaking out here, but this is a pretty big move down. It should bounce soon. If I'm wrong, then again, this is still in play. It never got invalidated, the extension. So actually this would be a fifth wave. So if I'm wrong, then you're looking at something down here. I just completely messed that up. Okay, whatever. This is like right here. You're looking at something down here. Weekly demand this is at 510. You'd probably see something down in this range right here to complete this overall 5-wave move, and then we can finally bounce. Let's look at where the moving averages are, though. The moving averages are going to be very important here. So that's one thing you always got to take into account. You have the 20 and the 50 were below that. That's bearish. You have the 200 were above that, so that means we're kind of like in this zone where we could come up here and touch the 20 and the 50, or we could come down here and test the 200. If this keeps on falling, then I would say there's a good chance to come down here and test the 200. But I think this is still going to end up being an expanded flat. So that means the B wave could come down here to 516 max, and then I'd be looking at a move up here to a minimum of 535, maximum up here 541. And it could happen pretty quickly too. So SPY, I mean, yesterday sucked intraday, but I'll show you on the options. Let's just go over. Okay, this is the last 2 days. I really only need to show you the 7th. Look at all the puts. Let's do above the ask. So when we were at 530, look at all these puts coming in above the ask, and then they were just buying them all the way down here, even down here to 518. They're buying more, 498 puts. So yeah, this is very, very bearish, obviously. So we're going to find out today. Is this going to stop at 516 or continue going on? I'm leaning towards 516 and a bounce. Let's go and look at something else now. Another thing to look at. We have at the ask 12.75 million 920 540 puts. Why would they be buying puts that much after it's already fallen 3% in a day? That's more than likely a sold put. 540 for 920. That makes me more confident that we're close to the bottom. They did buy this right here above the ask, so that's an actual put. That could be a hedge. We don't know. That could be a hedge. Also, you got this 4.69 million 816 561 put. Why would they buy that? That's got to be a sold put. This right here, another one. These high numbers at the ask where they're in the millions, those are probably sold puts. Even this one right here. And then you have a at the ask, call, 321, 540, call, another 123 million here. The only thing that's sketchy about this is IV did go up. Usually that means they bought it, but I can't imagine they'd buy $42 million in puts at the low of the day. But if it goes down to 500, then those could be bought puts. So you're really guessing, but sometimes you can kind of tell. Like it was obvious today. It was so obvious today. I made some money on puts because it was so obvious that we were going down. There wasn't a single call being bought. So that's my thoughts on SPY. I think 516 should be the bottom. But if it does break through that, you got to remember this is a big weekly demand, and you have support 200 DMA down here around 500. So that would suck. But let's just say we do go to 500. We do go to 500. Then you're looking at a retrace all the way to 533 minimum. So this is short-term pain. And the gains higher should be coming here shortly. So that's SPY. Let's go over QQQ. It's the same story with QQQ. 435, a little bit up pre-market. Expanded flat. Potentially down here to 433. Or does it continue on into, again, this demand zone? On QQQ, it would be an extension. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see either way, almost done in QQQ as well. And it also has support at 430. So I don't want to see it lose a 200 EMA at 430, or else that's really bad. We'd have to start looking at the weekly moving averages. And there's a gap down here at 407. So I think we're probably going to bottom here real quickly, maybe a little bit down at the open, and then bounce probably into OPEX, but a nice bounce after that. QQQ is the same thing. So they're buying again. Look at that. Above the ask. They're just buying puts like crazy. Do have a, here I'm just going to go to 8.7 only. Whatever, 8.7 to 8.8. So here's 8.7. And these all expire on the 9th. See how they all expire on the 9th? That is a good sign, because we should be out of this probably by the end of the week. There is one for 8.16. They probably close that too. These are all. This one's kind of crazy. 423 put. 440, 435. I don't know. This one right here above the ask, 4 million. These are right. The IV is rising here. 440. Yeah, so I mean that's really, really bearish. There's nothing to be said about that. Let's go over to at or above though. Those could be hedges. We have a call being bought, and then look at that. Here's the same thing as SPY. 18 million, 485 at 434. That's likely a sold put. I'm sure there's more. 9 million, 495 put. That's probably a sold put. Why would you be buying puts there? That would be kind of dirty if they bought that many puts to the very low, and then we ended up keep on going down, and that ended up being an actual bought put. So I would say leaning towards that being a sold put at the lows. So that kind of reinforces my thoughts. We're probably going to bottom quickly, but there still is that chance we come down here and make a new low. They both need to hold the 200 DMA. Tesla, it's just doing an ABC move. So A, B, C. It's down pre-market. It can come all the way down here to 186. That's the 1.61 fib of the A wave. If that happens, then you're only looking at maybe a move. Well, I would only expect a move up to like 206 for the next move higher. So we got to watch Tesla. It's still possible if the market keeps on going down. It's still possible this makes a new low. Let's go over the options on Tesla now. So good news, there was some call buying at the end of the day above the ask, 190, 920 call. You have a bunch of calls actually at the end of the day, but you also have some kind of sketchy puts here in rising IV on, I think it was this one right here, 1.18 million IV rises and 1.66 million at 193 for a 165 put. So kind of sketchy. And the IV did not rise on these. So we'll see on Tesla. Let's look at the, that is at or above the ask. I'm just kind of trying to see if there's any puts that look like they're sold puts. And these could be sold puts too. They are at the ask, 150, 150, 165. They're probably sold puts. Maybe some of these are hedges too. So we'll see. But it's nice to see some call buying coming in here at the lows. That kind of reinforces my idea that this is probably just a second wave or a B wave, and we'll see the next move higher after this. This could still be a second wave too. If it's a second wave, you're looking up at 215 next. So again, Tesla could be in a B wave, which I think is probably more likely, and I'd be looking for 231 before coming down here to like 150, 160. Nvidia, same thing. I think, well, first of all, this looks like 5 waves to me, or an expanded flat. Let's just see where that expanded flat would end. So this one went a little bit past. I don't think it is an expanded flat now. So we'll find out today, I guess. This looks like a 5-wave move completion though. So maybe it's just a very extended C wave here. If not, it already invalidated the 5-wave move down. So I think you're still looking at this as going higher. My target is up here at 121 for the next move higher. Excuse me. So Nvidia, I'm bullish from here. Let's see what happens. There's tons of call buying on Nvidia. Tons. There's some put buying too. Let's do above the ask. So that's not good. You have rising IV on a $100 put at 103, 104. They could have already closed that out though. You have a bunch of 95 calls, 7 million rising IV at 108, and that was the top. So I think that they're going to want to get paid. So that's very, very bullish right there. That is very, very bullish for the next move higher. I think Nvidia is going to 120. Let's go over Microsoft. I saw some put buying as well. So 385 puts, not really that much though in premium. I think Microsoft, same thing, more than likely is going to be in this pattern up here. AMD, same thing. I think this is probably a B wave, looking for a C wave higher. Let's go over Supermicro. Okay. I don't know if anybody's in this. It finished at 492, 487 pre-market. This is completely normal. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's just falling and it won't stop falling. It shouldn't fall this far, but this is pretty normal behavior. You zoom out here. I wouldn't touch it right now. If you zoom out on a log chart and you just look at this, this makes complete sense. So here's where it's at. Third wave ended at 1305. We're currently in a fourth wave. Retrace. I'd be looking for maybe even a retrace all the way down here, but probably just a 380. Two spots to look at here are, you have monthly 20 is right here at 436, and you have monthly demand at 335. So we're zooming in now. Zooming in, I would expect a minimum here of 438. There is a gap fill down here at 330, but again, this is just a no touch. Like, this is a C wave, normal fourth wave, and I know it doesn't seem normal, but if you use a log chart, you start to see that these big moves are actually normal in the grand scheme of things. If you're using a regular chart, then you're like, oh my gosh, this is a second wave. This is already topped out. No, this is a fourth wave. Big difference. This is a fourth wave. And there should be one more high after this. This should go to new highs eventually. So it's getting oversold, but I still wouldn't touch it until it shows us a bottom. It's going to be an interesting play, though, when it actually does bounce. It's probably going to be a nice play for recovery. I didn't see any options. Let's take a look again, though. Okay, so there's a 500 call bot at 494 above the ask. Obviously, that is going to be, it could come back, I guess. It's only at 492. So maybe it'll bounce today. Maybe this will end up hitting here and then bouncing. That person probably wants to get paid. They paid a lot of premium for a 500 call. They bought 501. Let's do the math here. So they spent how much? They bought 1,279. So every contract was $1,279. So they're gonna get a break-even price of, yeah, like 512 or so for the 9th. So they need a big bounce here. They might get it, but we need the market to bounce back. So on SMCI, yeah, it's just one of those ones where you got to let it bounce before taking a look to getting into it. You don't want to guess the bottom here. People are probably guessing the bottom. Oh, it can't go any lower at 550. And now they're in a big hole. So let it play out, let it bounce, and then you can get in maybe on a second wave. Maybe when it ends up going like this, you buy the retrace, and then you catch that move like that. So SMCI, normal move. We'll see when it bottoms. I might go over this just because I've been asked about it before lately. It actually hit exactly where I thought it would, but I don't even think that the third wave's done on this. This is really brutal, but I think that the fourth wave is in play right now. They have earnings today. It's at 42.97. Fourth wave could be finished. I think this is going all the way down here to $34 soon, and then we'll bounce back to 40, 45, and I think it's going all the way down here for a third or a fifth wave, probably in the 20s. I still have a small position. I've been hedging it. This is a brutal stock, but it's so oversold too. I hope it invalidates. I hope it invalidates. I think that this is an A wave though. So when this hits 20, let's say it goes to 25, I'm looking for a retrace probably just up here to like 60 bucks and then another move down. So I think it's going to be pretty brutal. It could go higher than that too. Maybe it goes up to the 0.61 fib at 72 bucks. But I think that this has already started its corrective move down. So I think it's going to go much lower. Again, using a log chart, let's go to the monthly. So I'm looking for at least 16 bucks on pizza. 16 bucks on pizza for a second wave, minimum. So that's going to be brutal if you're long, but you're probably going to have a chance to get out on a B wave. So the B wave should take it to 60, 70 bucks. What else we got here? Mara, up a little bit pre-market. Bitcoin was up. I think that Mara, again, is just in the middle of this bounce. So similar to this right here, again, I think we're looking at something like that, and then that. So, let's see. I want to show you something on the seasonality election year on an open field. This is very interesting. Here we are in the start of August, and look at this. I'm going to bring this on a bigger screen. So, I didn't really make it bigger. On August, we hit a low right here, and then we should chop up into September. And this is on an open field. It's open field now because Biden's not running. Look what happens in September all the way into late October. Huge drop. So like I've been saying in the videos, I think August is going to be bullish. After we get through this part, I think we're going to be bullish to the end of the month. And then I think we're going to drop hard and recover maybe in November, December. So, Mara, this could go higher, maybe all the way through August. And then probably down here to like 10 bucks. PayPal had a nice call the other day, but it didn't do anything. This is the worst, one of the worst stocks to be in. I don't know if this is going to go up here and finish this gap fill at 72. It was a huge call buy, but it was also for like 2025. I've been waiting for this move for a while, so I'm not in the stock, but I've been waiting for this to happen. Some point, this is going to happen. AMD, I already showed that. IWM was trying to bounce. Same thing as QQQ and SPY. I think you're looking at 212 minimum, probably up here to 216, I would think. Maybe this gap fill at 216 would be a target. Oh, look at that. The 1.61 fib goes right to it. So look for 215, 216 on IWM. Amazon, I had a question about that again. I went over in the video yesterday. Again, this looks to me like a third wave. And so this fourth wave could last for a while. It could last up here. We'll see if it can hold the 200 DMA. But again, it's below the 200. So it needs to get above the 200 to invalidate this move and then get above 177. But I'm still leaning towards this down here. And then that's where you're going to want to buy on the next fall, unless it invalidates. VIX rose yesterday. I am probably bearish now on the VIX, it's still going to come down here to 19 bucks. And then I think you're going to see boom, like that. And then that will probably take a while into October. So I think that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments anything else. Oh, I had a question about Airbnb. I haven't charted that one before, but I'll look at it. Wow, really, really sold off. I haven't looked at this in a while. Airbnb looks to me like so it looks like this. So you're probably going to get this after everything bottoms, probably in like October. So just like everything else, the pattern of the whole market, this right here is A, B, C, and now you're in some kind of, this could even be an extension too. This could be 1, 2, you know, something down here. I'm not looking at it very in depth though, but it looks to me like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably done with a third wave like everything else, and probably ready to bounce. But I think there's definitely another wave down. Max target on this, the maximum it can go, according to Fibs, would be down to 75 bucks. But if we're looking at how far the first wave was, it's probably not going to come down here. It's probably going to come down, I would say, probably somewhere around 100 bucks. And you can look at moving averages too. We're below all moving averages. It's super bearish. The next thing I would look at is demand zones. So look at gaps. And there's no gaps down here. It just filled this gap right here. So I could see this going back up to 122 and then having one more move down, maybe to like 100 bucks. Without looking at demand zones, I guess I can look at them real quick. This one right here, look at that demand zone right there. See how that's a demand zone? It hit right there, and that's at 100 bucks. So maybe that will hit again. So this makes a lot of sense right here. Bounce right up here to this demand zone at 126, and then maybe come down here to 100, like that. And then after that, it looks to me it'd be going higher. So Airbnb is probably a good buy here. But again, it's below all the moving averages, so I can't really recommend buying this because it's probably going to go down lower. You're playing against the trend, basically. I think that's pretty much it for this video. I went over it a lot, gave you my ideas. I think that the most likely route is we are going higher later in the day, but it could fall at open to scare people out one more time, and then we bounce. If it does continue to fall and make a new low, that's going to be really, really, really bad. Really, really bad. And I'd have to change my thesis and everything. But again, if it makes a new low, it's probably going to bounce after that. You got to remember, all of these are so far below the standard deviations. They're ready to bounce. So that's my thoughts on the market. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I will make another video tomorrow.